Today I'm going to be telling you the grimy history of the pineal gland and its rediscovery in the 1950s. There has been intensive study over the past 74 years, and much insight has been gained since then. Now, the pineal gland, or the third eye, historically was referred to the seat of the soul, the Eye of Ra. Greeks referred to it as the epiphysis cerebri. It was once considered vestigial in early European anatomy books, meaning it was thought to be a remnant of a structure that had lost its original function through so-called evolution. There are several reasons contributed to this perception. First of being a lack of understanding. For a very long time, European scholars have ignored lessons from Greeks learned from Kemet, and so the precise function of the pineal gland was not understood or ignored. Its small size and deep location within the brain made it difficult to study within the limited technology of earlier times. Because its function was not apparent, European scientists concluded it had no purpose for anyone. Now, the influence of Descartes. The philosopher René Descartes famously described the pineal gland as the seat of the soul in the 17th century. He clearly studied the knowledge from Kemet, gave to them from Greece. While this philosophical idea sparked interest, it did not provide clear scientific explanation for the gland's function. Once again, due to European science divorcing itself from the divine creator and dividing itself from alchemistry, or alchemy, into all different specialities and subjects, as if to say they're not related and connected by the one. Now, this left many to consider it as not having any significant physiological role at all, much less anything spiritual, because it has already divorced itself from anything spiritual. Thirdly, there was limited observable effects. The pineal gland does not have any obvious or immediate impact on the body that can be easily observed, unlike other glands that produce more directly noticeable effects, such as the adrenal or the thyroid. Historical classifications. Early anatomical studies classified organs and tissues based on observable effects and their apparent necessity for survival. Because removing or damaging the pineal gland did not lead to immediate death or drastic changes in behavior, it was deemed less critical. They weren't able to measure any changes from the removal of pineal glands. I find that to be interesting, because there are effects of removing the pineal gland. Now, the discovery of functioning pineal glands is often attributed to Dr. Irving H. Selikoff and his colleague in the 1950s. Here's a detailed overview of the discovery and its implications. To give some context, during the 1950s, researchers were interested in understanding various functions of various endocrine glands. The pineal gland was of particular interest because its function was still largely mysterious. Autopsies of black soldiers. Dr. Irving Selikoff and his team conducted autopsies on deceased soldiers, including black soldiers that died in the war. They found that the pineal glands in these individuals were not calcified and were actively producing melatonin, even post-mortem, even in death. Now, the significance of these findings was one, there's a calcification difference. It was observed that the pineal glands in black individuals tended to show less to no calcification compared to those in white individuals. Calcification of the pineal gland increases with age and is associated with reduced melatonin production. Active melatonin production. The finding that the pineal gland continued to produce melatonin post-mortem indicated that it remained functional and active even in death, challenging the notion that it was anything vestigial. The implications for sleep and the circadian rhythm. The discovery underscored the role of the pineal gland in regulating the sleep-wake cycles and the circadian rhythm through melatonin production. Now, this had an impact on scientific understanding, as you know, because it became a recognized endocrine function and established the pineal gland as an important endocrine organ involved in hormone production, particularly melatonin. Racial differences in the pineal gland function. The research highlighted racial differences in pineal gland calcification and function, which spurred further studies into the biological and genetic factors influencing these differences. So they say we all bleed the same blood, yes, but there are racial differences. And this has been scientifically found. Now, the broader implications include, but not limited to, medical research and treatments, because understanding the pineal gland's function has implications for treating sleep disorders, circadian rhythm disorders, and other conditions related to melatonin. Ethical and social considerations. The findings also prompted discussions on the ethical considerations of using data derived from autopsies and the importance of respecting the dignity of all individuals in scientific research. Just a side note, there is no respect for black bodies, and I will cite Henrietta Lacks as an example because the European scientists continue to study and use her DNA without having ever compensated the relatives for doing so. And melatonin pills are largely made synthetically. As a result, taking them will calcify your pineal gland too. The discovery of working pineal glands in deceased black soldiers was a crucial step in demystifying the function of the pineal gland and highlighting its significance in human physiology. It marked a turning point in endocrinology, leading to a more comprehensive research into the gland's role and the factors affecting its function. The discovery of the pineal gland and its active production of melatonin post-mortem, particularly in deceased black soldiers, is often attributed to Dr. Irving H. Selikov and his colleague Dr. William H. Sweet, a neurosurgeon. Their research was instrumental in shedding light on the pineal gland's function and the differences in calcification between the racial groups of black and white. With advances in medical science and technology, especially in the 20th century, the true function of the pineal gland became clearer to European science. It is now known to produce melatonin, a hormone that regulates the sleep-wake cycle and seasonal biological rhythms. This understanding has corrected the early misconception that the pineal gland is useless as an organ, highlighting its importance in regulating vital biological processes. All this while ignoring the spiritual aspect of awareness, thought, and intuition that the pineal gland or third eye contributes to the chakra system in an individual. The specific discovery of working pineal glands in deceased black soldiers is a significant historical point, particularly with the context of researching into pineal glands and melatonin production. Dr. Irving Selikov was a prominent physician and researcher known for his work in public health and occupational medicine. Dr. William H. Sweet was a renowned neurosurgeon who collaborated with Selikov on various research projects. Together, their studies contributed significantly to European science's understanding of the pineal gland and its role in the endocrine system. Their work, along with the contribution from other researchers after their findings, helped to establish the pineal gland as an active and important part of the human endocrine system, moving away from the earlier misconception that it was a vestigial organ with no significant function. Irving Selikoff and Dr. William H. Sweet were notable for their contribution to medical research, though their collaboration specifically on research involving the pineal glands in black soldiers is not well documented in publicly available sources. European science would prefer Dr. Selikov be best known and remembered for his pioneering work on the health effects of asbestos exposure, which led to significant advances in occupational health and safety. Sokolov Law. Dr. Sweet was a renowned neurosurgeon who made substantial contributions to neurosurgery and medical education over his long career at Harvard Medical School and Massachusetts General Hospital. Now, the pineal gland was common knowledge in Kemet over 3,500 years ago, known as the Eye of Ra, the Eye of Horus. It represented this part of the brain. European science had chosen to ignore the lessons previously taught to them in alchemistry or alchemy from centuries ago and has pretended to discover something new in the 1950s. Much like Christopher Columbus or Cologne, you cannot discover a land where people already are. This type of knowledge suppression occurs in many other subject areas as well, especially archaeology. The colonization of education was solidified when Rockefeller instituted the 1909 Oriental Mandate. The erasure, suppression, and whitewashing of black history started after the Moors were expelled from Spain, Italy, and parts of France. Europe then decided to colonize the Americas, Africa, parts of the Pacific, and the Caribbean. Now, calling anyone an Indian from the region of the Caribbean to the Americas, which Columbus did, and ignorant people still do to this day, is an insult to geography and common sense. Now, Africans passed on their knowledge to India. India passed on the knowledge to China. Occult, hidden Sanskrit and Buddhist teachings of the highest level was gained from the exploits of Madame Blavatsky and disseminated to a mostly white audience. Edgar Cayce was a student of Blavatsky, as well as Aleister Crowley, who took a darker path with the Golden Dawn. He began with negative intent, and he pretty much was just out for self. Melatonin poisoning can occur if you take too much of those melatonin synthetic pills. Particularly among children, it has increased over the past decade, especially during the pandemic of COVID. A study of poison control called in the US found the number of melatonin poisoning related calls increased 6 times up to 2012 to 2021. Of these calls, more than 4,000 teens and children were hospitalized. 2 died. Signs of melatonin overdose include excessive sleeping, vomiting, trouble breathing, other side effects of both low and high doses. This can include headaches, excessive sleepiness, blood pressure changes, gastrointestinal problems, changes in other hormonal levels, and mood swings, according to McCall. In a 1985 study conducted by C.R. Bayliss, N.L. Bishop, and R.C. Fowler, titled Pineal Gland Calcification and Defective Sense of Direction. Now, the calcification of the pineal gland is shown to be closely related to a defective sense of direction. In the tricenter prospective study of 750 patients, Lateral skull radiographs showed 394 had calcified pineal glands. Sense of direction was assessed by subjective questioning and objective testing, and the results noted on a scale of 0 to 10. 10 equals a perfect sense of direction. The average score of the 394 patients with pineal gland calcification was 3 to 7, ranged 0 to 8, whereas 356 patients without pineal gland calcification had an average score of 7.6, ranged 2 to 10. This difference was highly significant. A smaller parallel study in pigeons showed the pineal gland calcification leads to a reduction in homing abilities. Therefore, the difference was highly significant, and the sense of direction is severely affected with people who have calcified pineal glands. One of the most interesting soft tissues able to accumulate fluoride is the pineal gland. However, while knowledge of the calcification of this organ dates back to the 17th century, the first reports on its accumulation of fluoride appeared only in the mid-1990s. Mervell and Womby conducted a study to determine the effects of fluoride removal from the diet of aged rats about 26 months of age on pineal cell structure, and to compare the results with rats receiving fluoride with food control. It was observed that in animals deprived of fluoride for 8 weeks, the number of pinealocytes was higher than in control animals, which suggested a harmful effect of fluoride contained in the diet of pineal morphology, and thus on the production and secretion of melatonin. In turn, studies conducted by Bharti and Srivastava in rats showed the beneficial effects of melatonin and pineal proteins on fluoride-induced oxidative stress, which is one of the best-known effects of fluoride on the body. Animals were exposed to different doses of fluoride and melatonin and proteins obtained from buffalo pineal gland. Bubalus bubalis. The severity of oxidative stress was measured by the degree of activity of oxidative enzymes: superoxide dismutase, catalase, glutathione peroxidase, glutathione reductase, as well as concentration of reduced glutathione, and malodialdehyde, MDA, in the brains of the animals. The antioxidant system parameters were markedly improved by the intake of melanin and pineal proteins. In the latter case, the beneficial effect was even stronger. The action consisted of increased activity of antioxidant enzymes, increased GSH concentration, and decreased MDA concentration. All these parameters were adversely affected in the group of animals receiving fluoride. Decreased activity of enzymes and GSH concentration in increased MDA concentration, which is a marker of increased oxidative stress, painting a very disturbing picture of the effects of fluoride accumulation in the pineal gland. Now, the other reasons for pineal gland calcification that they will not tell you about are 1. Fluoride, 2. Vaccines, 3. Synthetic drugs, legal or illegal, 4. Processed foods, 5. Heavy metals. Now, due to these things being fed to the public by FDA-approved corporations, black people nowadays have the same high level of calcification as white people, unless they're able to avoid all these things. The chakra system, starting from the root, it deals with survival, trust, and grounding. The Sanskrit is Muladhara. Mantra is I am. Base of the spine is the location. Its sound is lam. The gland is the adrenal, and the color is red or brown. The sacral chakra deals with sex, creativity, and abundance. The Sanskrit, Svadhishana. Mantra, I feel. Location, lower stomach or pelvis. Sound is vam. The gland is the gonads, and the color is orange. Solar plexus chakra deals with power, vitality, manifestation. Sanskrit is Manipura. The mantra, I do. The location is the belly button. The sound is Ram. The gland is the pancreas, and the color is yellow. The heart chakra deals with love, healing, and acceptance. Sanskrit, Anahata. Mantra, I love. Location, center of the chest. The sound, Yam. The gland is the thymus, and the color is green or pink. The throat chakra deals with expression and communication, generally blocked by lies. The Sanskrit, Vishuddha. The mantra, I speak. The location is the throat. And the sound is Ham. The gland is the thyroid, and the color is azure blue. The third eye chakra deals with awareness, intuition, and thought. Sanskrit, Ajna. Mantra, I see. The location, the center of the forehead. Its sound is Om. The gland is a pineal, and the color is indigo. The crown chakra deals with spirituality and enlightenment. The Sanskrit, Sahasrara. The mantra, I understand. The location, the top of the head. The sound is silence. The gland is the pituitary, and the color is white or violet.
The water flows through this creek, much like the energy flows through your body. First, we will open the earth chakra, located at the base of the spine. It deals with survival. It is blocked by fear. You are concerned for your survival, but you must surrender those fears. Let your fears flow down the creek. Next is the
water chakra?
Brilliant! This chakra deals with pleasure and is blocked by guilt. Now, look at all the guilt which burdens you so. What do you blame yourself for? Accept the reality that these things happen, but do not let them cloud and poison your energy. If you are to be a positive influence on the world, you need to forgive yourself. Third is the fire chakra, located in the stomach. This chakra deals with willpower and is blocked by shame. What are you ashamed of? You will never find balance if you deny this part of your life. The fourth chakra is located in the heart. It deals with love and is blocked by grief. Lay all your grief out in front of you. Let the pain flow away. The fifth in the chain is the sound chakra, located in the throat. It deals with truth and is blocked by lies, the ones we tell ourselves. You cannot lie about your own nature. You must accept that you are the avatar. The sixth pool of energy is the light chakra, located in the center of the forehead. It deals with insight and is blocked by illusion. The greatest illusion of this world is the illusion of separation. Things you think are separate and different are actually one and the same. The thought chakra is located at the crown of the head. It deals with pure cosmic energy and is blocked by earthly attachment. Meditate on what attaches you to this world. Now, let all of those attachments go. Let them flow down the river. Or you cannot let the pure cosmic energy flow in from the universe. You must learn to let go. Let the pure cosmic energy flow.